What was the dumbest thing someone said while being 100% serious? So this happened about 3 years ago when I was working at a small marketing firm. We had this new hire, let's call him Brad, who seemed normal enough during the interview process. Good resume, decent references, could hold a conversation. What we didn't know was that Brad had some unique theories about how the world worked. It all started during lunch break. A bunch of us were in the break room, and Sarah was heating up her leftover pasta in the microwave. Pretty standard office stuff, right? Wrong. Brad suddenly gets this serious look on his face and goes, I've always wondered how they train the little guys to work so fast. We all kind of looked at each other like, what? So Mike asks, what little guys? And Brad, with the most deadpan expression I've ever seen, points at the microwave and says, the kitchen elves. The tiny ones that live inside microwaves and rub the food really fast to make it hot. Dead silence. Like, you could hear the fluorescent lights humming. I thought he was joking, so I laughed and said, good one, Brad. But then he got defensive. No, seriously. How else would it work? The food goes in cold and comes out hot. Obviously there's tiny people in there making it happen. That's why it makes that humming sound. It's them working really hard. At this point, Sarah's pasta is done, and the microwave beeps. Brad jumps a little and goes, see? That's their lunch whistle. They're probably tired now. Mike tries to explain electromagnetic radiation and how microwaves actually work, but Brad just shakes his head. Nah, man, that's just what Big Appliance wants you to think. It's way simpler than that. Little people, working hard, making our food hot. That's why you're not supposed to put metal in there. It hurts the elves. The kicker was when he asked, completely seriously, do you think they get overtime pay? This went on for weeks. Brad would bring up his elf theory in meetings, suggest we should leave tiny sandwiches in the microwave as tips for the workers, and even asked HR if there were labor laws protecting microwave elves. He was absolutely convinced this was how every microwave in the world operated. The breaking point came when we got a new microwave for the office. Brad insisted we needed to transfer the elves properly, from the old one to the new one. He wanted to set up a tiny bridge between them and everything. Our boss finally had enough and arranged for someone from the local community college to come in and do a basic physics presentation. Just for Brad. The poor physics teacher spent 2 hours explaining electromagnetic waves, molecular vibration, and how microwaves actually generate heat. Brad sat there nodding along, taking notes, asking questions. We all thought, finally, he gets it. Then at the end he raises his hand and asks, but where do the elves go when the microwave breaks? The physics teacher just stared at him for a solid 30 seconds before packing up and leaving without another word. Brad eventually left the company a few months later. Last I heard, he got a job at an electronics repair shop. I can only imagine the conversations he has with customers about their elf housing units. The funny thing is, he was actually pretty good at his marketing job. Creative thinking, But man, those microwave elves. I still can't use a microwave without thinking about tiny workers rubbing food really fast. Sometimes I wonder if Brad was just the most committed method actor in history, but honestly, I think he genuinely believed it, which somehow makes it even better.